Do you think you've heard the recent quarrel between Trump and Kim Jong-un? You're wrong, because today I'm going to show you the full version of this dialogue and how someone defended Zelensky. Watch to the end. This quarrel between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un has shocked millions of people. It will change your ideas about the current president. At the end, you will learn the shocking news. All characters are fictional, any coincidences are accidental, and the author is not responsible for any consequences. The meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un began with a historic handshake at the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, between North and South Korea. The atmosphere was cordial at first, but as the leaders moved into the Freedom House for private negotiations, tensions quickly escalated over the topic of Russia's war with Ukraine. The opening exchange. Trump: "It's good to see you again, Kim. You're looking well. But let's cut to the chase. I've got a lot on my plate: Ukraine, Russia, China, you name it. And frankly, Zelensky's becoming a real headache. He's ungrateful, always begging for more money, more weapons. I gave him javelins, I gave him billions, and what does he do? He complains. Can you believe that?" Author's note. Trump's opening is classic Trump brash, self-centered and dismissive. He's positioning himself as the aggrieved party, frustrated by Zelensky's demands. His tone reflects his transactional view of international relations, where gratitude is expected in exchange for aid. Kim Jong-un: "President Trump, I must say, I find your attitude toward Zelensky surprising. Ukraine is a sovereign nation fighting for its survival. Zelensky is a leader defending his people. You speak of gratitude. But what about your duty to uphold global stability? Or is that no longer a priority for America?" Author's note. Kim's response is measured but pointed. He's positioning himself as a defender of sovereignty, perhaps to contrast his own regime's isolationist policies. His tone is calm, but carries an undercurrent of criticism, challenging Trump's narrative. Trump: "Global stability? Don't talk to me about global stability. I've been the one keeping the world in check. Remember my 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum? I did that to protect American jobs, to show the world we're not a doormat. And let me tell you, it worked. Even your country felt the heat, didn't it, Kim?" Author's note. Trump's reference to the steel tariffs is a power move, reminding Kim of his economic leverage. His tone is boastful, reflecting his belief in his own policies as a tool of dominance. Kim Jong-un: "Your tariffs hurt many nations, including mine. But we adapted. We survived. Unlike Zelensky, who is fighting for his country's very existence. You speak of tariffs, but what about the cost of war? What about the lives lost in Ukraine? Or do you only care about dollars and cents?" Author's note. Kim's response is sharp, turning the conversation back to Ukraine. He's appealing to moral arguments, perhaps to deflect from his own regime's human rights abuses. His tone is defiant, challenging Trump's priorities. Trump: "Listen, Kim, Zelensky's a comedian who thinks he's a hero. He's playing with fire, and he's going to get burned. I've given him everything, and he still acts like it's not enough. He's weak, desperate, and frankly, he's embarrassing himself on the world stage." Author's note. Trump's tone is dismissive and insulting, reflecting his frustration with Zelensky's perceived ingratitude. His words reveal a lack of empathy for Ukraine's plight, focusing instead on his own grievances. Kim Jong-un: "President Trump, your words are reckless. Zelensky may be desperate, but he is fighting for his people. You call him weak, but it takes strength to stand against a superpower like Russia. Perhaps you should look in the mirror and ask yourself why you are so quick to abandon an ally." Author's note. Kim's response is a direct challenge to Trump's leadership. He's positioning himself as a voice of reason, contrasting Trump's transactional approach with a more principled stance. His tone is calm, but carries a clear rebuke. The plot twist. As the argument reaches its peak, an aide bursts into the room holding a tablet. The aide whispers something to Trump, who immediately turns to Kim with a smirk. Trump: Well, Kim. It seems Zelensky's been talking behind our backs. He just gave an interview where he called us both useless and said he doesn't need our help anymore. Can you believe the arrogance of this guy?" Author's note. The plot twist introduces a shocking development. shifting the dynamics of the conversation. Trump's tone is a mix of vindication and anger, as he uses the news to undermine Zelensky's credibility. Kim Jong-un, initially silent. Then his expression darkens. Is this true? Zelensky said that? After everything we've discussed? This is unacceptable. If he cannot appreciate the efforts of those trying to help him, then perhaps he deserves to face the consequences alone. Author's note: Kim's reaction is a dramatic shift. His initial defense of Zelensky crumbles as he feels personally insulted. His tone is cold and calculating, reflecting his own pride and sensitivity to perceived slights. Trump: See, Kim, I told you. Zelensky's a lost cause. He's biting the hand that feeds him. Maybe it's time we both cut him loose and let him figure it out on his own. Author's note: Trump's tone is triumphant, as if he's won the argument. His words reflect his transactional mindset, where loyalty is paramount, and betrayal is met with swift retribution. Kim Jong-un, after a long pause: Perhaps you are right, President Trump. Zelensky's arrogance is unacceptable. But let us not forget the bigger picture. Russia's actions threaten us all. If we abandon Ukraine, we risk emboldening Putin further. This is not just about Zelensky, it's about the balance of power. Author's note: Kim's final words reveal a strategic shift. While he now dislikes Zelensky, he's still wary of Russia's growing influence. His tone is pragmatic, reflecting his focus on long-term geopolitical stability. The sun was setting over the White House, casting long shadows across the Rose Garden. Donald Trump, seated behind his massive desk, was fuming. He had just received news that one of his closest associates, a prominent businessman named Robert Bobby Langston, had been robbed by a group connected to Kim Jong-un. To make matters worse, another friend of his, a former Navy officer named Mike Harrington, had narrowly escaped an attempted kidnapping during a recent trip to South Korea. The tension in the air was palpable as Trump dialed Kim's number. Trump, voice low and seething: Kim, we need to talk. This is unacceptable. My friend Bobby was robbed by your thugs, and another close associate almost got snatched right off the street. What kind of regime are you running over there? Author's note: Trump's tone is aggressive and confrontational, reflecting his frustration and protectiveness over his inner circle. His opening is classic Trump, blunt and accusatory, with little regard for diplomatic niceties. Kim Jong-un calmly, with a hint of irritation: Donald, I assure you, my people are not responsible for this. You know how it is. Rumors and misunderstandings can escalate quickly. I have no control over every individual in my country. Author's note: Kim's response is measured but defensive. He's quick to deflect blame, emphasizing the chaotic nature of his regime. His tone reflects his awareness of the complexities of his rule and his desire to avoid direct confrontation. Trump, cutting him off: Misunderstandings? This isn't just some diplomatic faux pas, Kim. This is about safety. If your people think they can just take what they want from Americans, we have a serious problem on our hands. Author's note: Trump's tone escalates, reflecting his anger and frustration. He's not interested in excuses. He wants action. His words reveal a transactional mindset, where loyalty and safety are paramount. Kim Jong-un sighing: You know as well as I do that my leadership is often challenged by those who wish to undermine our stability. But let's be clear, my regime does not condone such actions. It's bad for business and even worse for diplomacy. Author's note: Kim's response is pragmatic, acknowledging the potential fallout of such incidents. His tone is calm, but carries an undercurrent of frustration, reflecting his awareness of the delicate balance he must maintain. Trump: I expect you to take responsibility for this. I don't care if it was a rogue group or not. It happened under your watch. You need to show some strength here, Kim. Author's note: Trump's tone is demanding, reflecting his belief in personal accountability. His words are a challenge to Kim's authority, pushing him to take decisive action. Kim Jong-un, voice rising slightly: Strength? Is that what you think this is about? You throw accusations without understanding the full picture. My servant Taze. A servant was involved in the kidnapping attempt on Mike Harrington. It was a mistake fueled by insults meant for me. I will not tolerate this behavior. Author's note. Kim's tone shifts, revealing a crack in his stoic facade. His admission of fault is a strategic move, aimed at diffusing the situation while maintaining his authority. His words reflect his pride and sensitivity to perceived slights. Trump pausing, taken aback. Wait, what? Your servant? So you admit it? Author's note. Trump's tone is one of surprise, reflecting his shock at Kim's admission. His words reveal a shift from confrontation to curiosity, as he begins to see an opportunity for negotiation. Kim Jong-Un. Yes, but it was all based on a misunderstanding. Someone insulted me, and in a fit of misguided loyalty he acted out. I will have him imprisoned for this affront to both our nations. Author's note. Kim's tone is firm but conciliatory, reflecting his willingness to take responsibility while deflecting blame onto a subordinate. His words reveal a pragmatic approach to diplomacy, aimed at preserving his regime's stability. Trump, suddenly more composed. All right, let's talk about how we can resolve this. If you're willing to hold your servant accountable, then maybe we can work something out here. I need assurance that my friends are safe when they travel in your territory. Author's note. Trump's tone shifts to one of negotiation, reflecting his ability to pivot from anger to pragmatism. His words reveal a transactional mindset, where accountability is exchanged for assurances. Kim Jong-Un. I can assure you that this incident will not go unpunished. But let us also discuss how we can improve our relations. After all, we both stand to benefit from stability rather than chaos. Author's note. Kim's tone is conciliatory, reflecting his desire to turn a crisis into an opportunity for diplomacy. His words reveal a strategic understanding of the benefits of cooperation. Trump nodding slowly. You're right. Let's find a way to use this situation to strengthen our dialogue. Perhaps we could arrange for more direct communication channels between our teams. It would prevent these misunderstandings in the future. Author's note. Trump's tone is collaborative, reflecting his willingness to explore solutions. His words reveal a pragmatic approach to diplomacy, aimed at preventing future conflicts. After the call, Trump reflected on the meeting with Kim at the DMZ. I want to thank him. If he hadn't shown up after I posted the invitation on social media, the press would have put me in a very bad light, Trump said to his aides. As the dust settled, Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in escorted Kim Jong-un to the demarcation line. The image of the three leaders standing together was powerful, but the underlying tensions were undeniable. Trump's character. Trump's aggressive tone reflects his characteristic bravado and protectiveness over his inner circle. His instinct is to strike first and assert dominance, believing that confrontation will yield respect and resolution. However, his ability to pivot from anger to negotiation showcases his adaptability, a hallmark of his leadership style. Kim Jong-un's character. Kim's response hints at the complexities of his ruler must balance maintaining authority while navigating the chaotic elements within his own regime. His admission of fault demonstrates a willingness to engage in diplomacy, albeit begrudgingly. His pragmatic approach to resolving the crisis highlights his strategic understanding of international relations. Impact on global politics. The fallout from this call could have far-reaching consequences. If both leaders can find common ground, it could lead to improved relations between the U.S. and North Korea. However, the underlying tensions and mistrust remain, highlighting the fragile nature of their relationship. Conclusion. Trump's unorthodox diplomacy had once again created a spectacle, but the question remained, what had it achieved? The world watched, waiting to see if this latest chapter in Trump's reality show presidency would lead to lasting change or simply more drama. This dialogue underscores the high-stakes nature of international diplomacy, where personal grievances and misunderstandings can escalate into major conflicts. The world watches as these two unpredictable figures navigate their tumultuous relationship, aware that their decisions could ripple across continents, affecting lives far beyond their own borders. And yet, in their shared humanity and vulnerability, lay the seeds for a future where dialogue might just prevail over discord. The end. What do you think about this story? Write in the comments, Subscribe and wait for the next video. It will show a shocking conversation between Trump and the President of China. If you don't subscribe, you will make a huge mistake.